you don't want something so bad that you just self-motivated to go and do it, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like, somebody has to tell you to go work out. You shouldn't be going to work out. Like, nobody's gonna give you anything. You have to earn everything. You've earned everything from this far, so just stick with the plan and make sure you go to the gym and don't have somebody outwork you. That's the thing. It's a cliche, but everybody says, while you're asleep, somebody else is working, but it's true. So that's kind of what I always think in my head, and just make sure I'm working hard every day and not really trying to take too many days off or any days off if I can.
Philosopher Henry David Thoreau once said, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined." Temple's junior guard Will Cummings is a dreamer.
Here's a steal, and Will Cummings will have a breakaway layup, and he slams it home. Cummings dribbles with his right hand now, but goes up with a shot. What a play by a spinning Will Cummings in the lane.
And each day, his self-motivated grind, which is what he calls his personal dedication to hard work and improvement, gets him one step closer to the life in the NBA he's imagined for himself from the time he was a child.
That's the highest goal that I want to make it to. So that's my ultimate plan, is make it to NBA. And then if that doesn't happen, I'll think after that, but that's my ultimate goal.
Number 2 knows that to achieve his goal, he's got a lot of improvements to make. But if his early season performances are any indication, he's off to a good start. Cummings' freshman and sophomore seasons were spent behind players like Khalif Wyatt. But now that Wyatt has moved on to the professional ranks, it's Cummings' turn to be the man. And he's not taking his new role for granted.
I went home in the summer, worked out countless hours, probably overworked myself. And I really think it was in the fourth quarter of our second game of Europe is when it really clicked in my head that I can do this. Like, I have the ability to translate what I did in high school to now my junior year in college, and kind of make sure I can score the basketball and make plays and do everything that the team needs me to do.
I'm sure there were conversations that took place between he and I might say, you know what your role is going to be next year. It's going to change dramatically from what it is today. So he's a pretty bright guy. He can figure all that out. He's watching the evolution of teams and seeing that we're going to lose 5 guys from this year's team, and somebody's going to have to step up and be a leader. And my guess is he said to himself, that's me. I want that role, and I want that responsibility.
Cummings has taken on that responsibility and run with it. In the early part of the season, he has more than quadrupled his career scoring numbers, leading the Owls with an average of 18 points per game, all the while keeping his teammates involved with 4 assists per contest. But numbers aside, there's something noticeably different in his aggressiveness, to the point that when you watch him play, you get the sensation that you're watching a star in the making.
I always thought I had it in me. It was just the circumstances how I was playing my first 2 years. So I think I just kind of accepted the challenge, knowing that we had a different team this year and knowing that they needed me to score this year. So I really had to kind of dig back and go back to my high school mentality and kind of find that inner self and just make sure I use that for coming out this season.
I think the next step in his progression will be, if indeed there is as much scoring that continues for him, then teams might guard him a little bit differently. And how am I going to now help my team?
If the speed he plays at looks familiar, that's no coincidence. As Cummings was growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, he had his eyes on Philadelphia and the city's iconic basketball star, Allen Iverson, whose fearlessness is something Temple's guard became captivated by.
That's what I knew Philly for. The only thing I knew Philly for, besides the history. So I've always been a big fan just because how hard he played. And that's just what I've always taught myself and kept in my head. Just as long as you play hard, then you can't really be mad at yourself.
Cummings is used to winning. He's been on 2 24-win teams and been to 2 NCAA tournaments. And like an emerging leader would, he's made himself personally responsible for producing nothing less in his junior season, no matter what his team's doubters might think.
I've been here 2 years, so just being around the last 2 teams where we won 20-plus games both seasons. So I feel like it would be my responsibility that if we have anything less. So just coming out and just making sure those guys know that if we don't win, then nothing else matters. You can have all the points you want, you can have all the stats you want, but if we don't win, then it's an unsuccessful season. So that's kind of what I set upon myself, and And just that comes in a self-motivated ground too, because if you have to be self-motivated to go and make sure you're working every day to get better and being able to get those wins.